Canada is changing course and focusing on the EV trade with Europe, putting American automakers at risk as Tesla, GM, and Ford fall behind. This trade war may cause supply chains to tremble and car prices to soar. Is this a one-time change or a negotiating strategy? Hold on tight as we examine 6 key ways that this might impact the North American auto industry going forward. Number 6. Tesla gets directly hit by Canada's counterpunch. Canada is not holding back when it comes to the threats of US tariffs. Canada is thinking of imposing a 100% tariff on Tesla automobiles. This implies that your next Model Y or Model 3s could unexpectedly cost twice as much if you're a Canadian Tesla enthusiast. Many buyers are priced out of the market. Here's the real kicker though. Tesla sells in automobiles outside of Canada. Additionally, it is importing vital battery components from the nation, such as nickel and lithium. Tesla will have to look elsewhere if Canada retaliates by restricting access to these vital resources. Additionally, that implies increased expenses, slower production, and possibly more expensive EVs in the US. Not to mention Wall Street. The stock of Tesla is infamously sensitive to trade disputes. The threat of tariffs is more than just an economic jab. The mere rumor of Canadian restrictions could send investors into a frenzy. It is a calculated blow to Tesla's long-term expansion. Number 5. American automakers' supply chain. Horror feel the strain. The auto industry has been closely linked between the United States and Canada for more than a century. US automakers depend on Canadian factories to supply vital components. However, a trade war between Washington and Ottawa over tariffs might instantly destroy the supply chain. The majority of cars built in North America aren't produced in just one nation. A number of cross-border crossings occur before components reach the final assembly. Automakers like GM, Ford, and Stellantis will have to either absorb the cost or pass it on to customers if tariffs increase prices. They're passing it on to customers. Spoiler alert, at the dealership, be prepared for sticker shock, plant slowdowns, and possible factory job losses as automakers rush to reorganize supply chains. Number 4. Europe's great prospect. Canada's next EV superpower? American automakers may be shut out of a significant market if Canada really makes the switch to the European Union. While European companies like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Volkswagen prosper. Why? Because the EU maintains more open trade policies with Canada than the US does. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement facilitates easier market access. This implies that Canadians may soon adopt European EVs as their new favorite. However, with lower import taxes and a more EV-friendly regulatory environment, American brands find it difficult to compete. German and Scandinavian automakers might oversupply the Canadian market with high-tech, more reasonably priced EVs that outperform those made in the US. For Detroit's Big Three, that is a nightmare scenario that could completely alter their approach to sales. If Canada is genuinely dedicated to this European partnership, prior to going further, please smash the like and subscribe buttons for us. This enables us to connect with more auto enthusiasts like you. Let's change gears now and move on to our next destination. Number 3. The ripple effect on consumers could cause US auto prices to rise. If the United States and Canada's trade disputes keep getting worse, American consumers will be among the largest casualties. Not just automakers would be impacted. By a 100% tariff on Canadian imports, car buyers would be severely impacted financially. Canada is a significant supplier of steel, aluminium, and other necessary battery components. Automakers will have to pass those costs on to customers if tariffs cause these resources to become twice as expensive, particularly in the EV industry, where Canadian nickel and lithium are essential for battery production. This translates into higher sticker prices, more expensive repairs, and a declining selection of reasonably priced models. However, the cascading impact doesn't end there. Canadian metals are also used in industries other than automotive, such as consumer electronics and construction. Tariffs will increase the cost of everything from smartphones to home appliances if they raise the price of raw materials and cause inflation. Due to a trade war that doesn't seem to be abating, the American consumer may end up bearing the brunt of the burden, as prices rise everywhere. Is a breakup in the making? Canada is re-evaluating its automotive ties. The United States and Canada have been partners in the automotive industry for many years, working together in a networked supply chain that supports North American production. However, there is currently a lot of strain on that relationship. When the United States imposed a 25% tariff on auto imports from Canada and Mexico in early 2025, citing trade imbalances and national security concerns, tensions erupted. It wasn't taken lightly in Canada, launching a massive retaliatory tariff package worth $155 billion that targets important U.S. exports in response. In order to lessen its dependency on American imports and exports, Canada is now looking into alternative trade agreements with Europe, relying on accords like the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CEA. The formerly cohesive North American automotive industry may fragment into a battlefield if this trend persists, compelling American automakers to reconsider their production plans and international alliances. U.S. automakers cannot afford to ignore the risk of long-term disruption, even though a total breakup of trade relations is unlikely. Is a permanent trade shift or a bluff in Canada's endgame? Therefore, the crucial question still stands. Was Canada's action merely a high-stakes bluff to get Washington to reduce tariffs? Or is the global auto trade about to undergo a fundamental realignment? According to some analysts, this is merely a political ploy to get the U.S. to reconsider its assertive trade policy. Others contend that, in light of the present state of the economy, Canada is actually turning towards Europe in an effort to achieve long-term stability independent of U.S. influence. U.S. automakers will face significant obstacles if Canada continues on this course, including increased production costs and the loss of a significant export market. It may be necessary for Tesla, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis to reorganize their businesses, look for alternative suppliers, or risk completely losing market share in Canada. It is evident that both countries are currently engaged in a high-stakes game of economic brinkmanship, and the result will dictate how the North American auto industry develops in the future. Conclusions. The North American auto trade's turning point. Canada's audacious move towards alliances with Europe sends a strong message. The United States tariffs won't be a powerful weapon. But are we seeing the beginnings of a full trade realignment? Or is this merely a short-term attempt to compel talks? Automakers may witness a sharp increase in prices, a disruption in supply chains, and a decline in market shares if the United States maintains its position. In the future, German, Swedish, and French electric vehicles may predominate on Canadian roads, making it difficult for American automakers to compete if Canada is fully committed to its European pivot. What do you think then? Is the trade war merely a political ploy? Or is the auto industry in North America actually about to undergo a significant change? Let's discuss it after you leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Additionally, remember to click the subscribe button and enable notifications if you want to be informed of the most important automotive updates. Here on my channel, we'll keep you up to date on the most recent developments. We're diving into a major development that could send ripples through the US auto market. Canada just struck a big deal with the European Union on electric vehicles, and it has the potential to change the game for North America's auto industry. What does this mean for US carmakers, EV production, and the future of trade? What's this deal all about? Canada and the EU have reached an agreement aimed at boosting EV production and trade between the two regions. This deal is focused on battery supply chains, raw materials, and vehicle exports, creating a smoother pathway for Canadian EVs and battery components to reach Europe without major trade barriers. Canada, thanks to its vast reserves of key EV minerals like lithium, nickel, and cobalt, has positioned itself as a major supplier for Europe's electric vehicle push. With strong environmental policies and trade-friendly regulations, Canada is making itself a go-to partner for the EU as it races to electrify its auto sector. Now, here's where things get interesting for the US auto industry. The United States has been working hard to dominate the EV race, especially with incentives from the Inflation Reduction Act. But Canada's new trade advantage with the EU could shake things up. If Canadian EV manufacturers get easier access to European markets, they could see an investment boom, potentially attracting companies that might have otherwise chosen the US battery supply chain disruptions. The US has been working on securing its own EV battery supply chains, but if Canada becomes the preferred supplier for Europe, that could create more competition for resources. Pressure on US trade policy. With Canada forging ahead, Washington might feel the heat to negotiate its own deals with Europe or risk falling behind in global EV trade. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. And I see you all in the next video.